A slave has no body of his own. It belongs to the hunger of others. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing your flesh, your breath, even your silence, was never yours. That your existence was carved only to feed the desires of others, and when you break, history won't even remember your name. This is the story of the forgotten servants of pleasure, the shadows who built empires, but were erased from them. You wake up in a chamber that does not belong to you. The air is thick, clinging to your throat, carrying the mixed stench of incense, sweat, and something sour that no perfume can conceal. Before you even open your eyes fully, the truth presses down on you. Your body has already been claimed. You were not asked. You were not even noticed. You were purchased, weighed, and stripped of meaning before you had a chance to decide what meaning was. Ownership has been carved into your skin like a brand you cannot see but always feel. You are not one of the chosen ones. You will not wear silks or lie in gilded chambers, courted by kings or envied by queens. No, you belong outside the harem, beyond the walls where pleasure is performed. You are condemned to its shadows, to polish the marble that others stain with their ecstasy, to wash sheets you will never sleep in, to prepare food you will never taste. The cruelty here is not spectacle, but erasure. You exist to make pleasure possible for others while remaining invisible, faceless, forgotten. Think of the paradox. Your hands arrange the very flowers that will perfume another's night of indulgence, but their fragrance will never reach you. You pour wine into jeweled cups, though your own lips will crack with thirst. The softness of silk slides across your palms, yet your own clothes rot with sweat and dirt. You live surrounded by beauty, yet never part of it. You are the ghost that haunts abundance, essential, but never acknowledged. And that is the true horror. Not that you were denied entry into the harem, but that your absence will never be remembered. Even the concubines, trapped and exploited, left behind whispers, records, fragments of their torment. But you are the silence beneath the music. You are the breath behind the curtain. You are the chain that rattles only in secret. And when your body collapses from exhaustion, when your hands can no longer serve, the world will not notice. History will not write your name. The palace will go on shining, while your existence is swept away with the ashes. But the cruelty was only beginning. The corridors are narrow, but their silence is endless. You move through them carrying trays heavy with fruits, perfumes, and fabrics, each one destined for a chamber you will never enter. The walls glow faintly with oil lamps, and in their light, your shadow stretches long. But your name, yourself, stretches nowhere. You are not seen. You are only function. Your fingers tremble as you place a tray of pomegranates on polished silver. The fruit glistens like rubies torn from the heart of the earth, seeds swollen with sweetness. You know their taste only in memory, never in reality. The juice that would once run down your chin is now a forbidden river you may never drink from. You carry abundance every day, but your hunger grows sharper than knives. You polish silk gowns with roughened hands, yet you sleep on rags that stink of mildew. You crush flowers for perfumes that will caress another's skin, yet your own stench is sweat and labor. This is the theater of deprivation. The cruelty is not loud, not spectacular. It whispers. It lives in the ache of your stomach, in the ache of your longing. What makes the torment unbearable is not pain inflicted, but beauty withheld. Beauty paraded before you like a mirror showing what you will never become. The palace depends on you. Without your hands, the silks wrinkle, the food rots, the air stinks. And yet, when the feasts begin, when the music starts, you disappear into the walls. You are the hand that sets the stage, but never the actor. You are the one who makes desire possible, but never the one who feels it. And so, the question burns in your chest like a brand. Is there anything crueler than living surrounded by pleasure and never once being allowed to taste it? You stand in the dust of the marketplace, naked beneath a sun that burns without mercy. The air reeks of sweat, spice, and fear. Around you, bodies are lined in rows, some trembling, some already emptied of hope. You are not a person here, you are a specimen. Hands probe you with indifference. Fingers press against your teeth, checking if they are strong enough to grind coarse bread. Palms slap your thighs, measuring muscle, testing endurance. They are not searching for beauty. Beauty is reserved for gilded cages. They are searching for labor, for the resilience to polish stones until your bones ache, to carry trays until your arms collapse. Merchants whisper as though you cannot hear them. Numbers, prices, bargains sealed with a nod. You are reduced to weight and worth, a coin exchanged between strangers. No one asks your name. No one asks what you dream of. The only question is how long your body will last before it breaks. And, when the deal is struck, a brand burns into your flesh. The iron hisses, your skin blisters, and your identity vanishes in smoke. You are not chosen for pleasure, only for the shadows that sustain it. Every empire of lust was built upon an empire of servitude. Behind the curtains of jeweled chambers, the air thick with music and laughter, there burned the hidden labor of those who would never be named. The ruler's hand caressed silk only because another's hand had bled to weave it. The candlelight that made bodies glow golden existed only because a slave bent over wax and wick until their fingers cracked. Pleasure was not spontaneous. It was engineered. It was a machine powered by exhaustion, fueled by silence. Every sigh of delight required someone else to scrub away filth. Every banquet required someone else to starve. The body of the servant became the foundation upon which the master performed his desire, and yet the hypocrisy remained veiled. Civilizations praised their poetry, their gardens, their refinement. They boasted of enlightenment while standing knee-deep in hidden cruelty. The machinery of pleasure demanded gears made of flesh, and those gears broke, screamed, vanished. But the machine never faltered. You begin to see the structure. This was never just about you. It was about a system, polished with lies, gilded with denial, built on the bones of the unseen. Night after night, bodies bent until they no longer remembered what standing upright felt like. You bend too, your back folding as you scrub sheets stained with excess, washing away the traces of pleasure that will never belong to you. Your hands ache, but the stains return again, as endless as the nights themselves. You kneel at the foot of swollen limbs, massaging them until your fingers burn, feeling every knot of flesh that belongs to another. You are the one who eases their fatigue, though your own exhaustion has no remedy. When cries echo in the darkness, cries not meant for royal ears, you are the one who silences them, pressing your body between pain and its witness. These are the forgotten bodies. They carried weight without acknowledgement, endured touch without desire, performed care without affection. No songs were written for them. No stones were carved with their names. Their deaths slipped soundlessly into the soil, like spilled water, disappearing into sand. Even concubines, imprisoned and exploited, left traces in chronicles, letters, whispers. But you leave nothing. History rejects you, buries you deeper than all others. You become absence itself, a hollow space where humanity once tried to live, and in that hollow, the collapse begins. Silence becomes your second skin. You wear it tighter than chains, heavier than shackles. Orders fall upon you like stones, and your tongue obeys without protest. Inside, you scream. A scream so vast it could split walls, but no sound escapes. Your voice is forbidden, and so it withers. Day by day, your name dissolves, replaced by a number, a gesture, a glance. You are summoned not as a person, but as an object, called forth by command alone. The shame burns deeper than the lash, because it is invisible. Whips scar the body, but silence corrodes the soul. And here lies the cruel paradox. When pleasure is performed, someone must always be voiceless. The spectacle of power demands an audience of shadows. For laughter to echo in jeweled chambers, there must be those who swallow their cries in the dark. For silk to shimmer, there must be tongues held still, lips sealed forever. Your silence is not emptiness. It is labor. It is a wound demanded by power, a violence sharper than blades. And as you endure it, you begin to wonder, which kills faster, the body that breaks, or the voice that is never allowed to speak? Fear walks beside you in every corridor, a silent companion you cannot shake. It waits in the corner of your vision, reminding you that one mistake is enough to erase you. Not scold you, not wound you, erase you. Those who falter do not remain. They vanish. One night you see them scrubbing marble floors, and the next morning their place is empty. The water bucket still damp, the rag still stained. No questions are asked. No farewells are given. They are executed quietly, sold in haste, or discarded like broken furniture. And the palace swallows the absence as if nothing has shifted. Disappearance becomes its own punishment. The not knowing gnaws at you. Did they scream? Did they beg? Or were they simply struck down in silence, their body dragged away before the lamps were lit? The uncertainty is as cruel as the act itself. This is not neglect anymore. This is destruction. Power flexing its hand, reminding every servant that they are not merely invisible, but disposable. Fear infuses each breath, each movement, each thought. You polish the silver faster, your fingers raw, because you know what waits if you falter. And as you bow your head, you wonder, how many shadows have been erased before you, and how soon until you, too, are one of them. They called themselves civilizations of light, poets of desire, architects of splendor, guardians of refinement. They carved gardens where fountains sang and perfumed the air with roses. They recited verses about beauty, honor, and divine love. But beneath every word, beneath every flower, there lay a shadow. The bodies that made those illusions possible. Behind every candlelit poem, there was a slave whose body had become the wick. Behind every feast, there was a hand blistered from preparing food it would never taste. Behind every delicate garment, there were fingers bleeding from endless hours of weaving. The splendor they praised was never theirs alone. It was stolen from the suffering they buried. And still, they called themselves enlightened. Still, they claimed to elevate the soul through art, through faith, through empire. Hypocrisy became the mortar of their palaces. Beauty manufactured from hidden blood. Silence, painted gold. You hear their verses echo through the corridors even now. But they do not sing of you. They sing of kings, of lovers, of gods. Never of the nameless who bent, bled, and broke. The irony is grotesque. Civilizations crowned themselves with glory, while standing on corpses they refused to name. And if such is the measure of beauty, then what is ugliness? Perhaps not filth, but the refusal to see who cleans it. The palaces crumble, marble splits, gardens wither. The music of the harems fades into nothing but rumor. The silks rot, the perfumes turn sour, and the stones once polished by your hands collapse into dust. Empires that seemed eternal fall like broken statues, swallowed by time. And yet, silence endures. Your name is gone, your body dissolved into earth, your grave unmarked. No one remembers the nights you bent until your spine screamed, or the mornings when hunger hollowed your chest. History turns its gaze to kings and queens. But you remain only an absence. Second by second, you feel yourself dissolving, becoming dust that swirls in forgotten corridors. But even in dust, the chains remain. They weigh heavier than bones, heavier than flesh, binding you to a memory no one tells. You vanish. Yet the mark of your suffering lingers, not as story, but as silence. This is the cruelest inheritance. Not that you were broken, but that your breaking was erased. Your life became nothing more than an echo swallowed by the dust of time. And still, you wonder, if silence is all that remains, does the chain ever truly fall away? The answer waits in the final weight of memory. What does it mean to build pleasure on another's suffering? To polish joy with someone else's blood? To feast while another starves in silence? The question lingers, heavier than any chain, because it is not only history's question, it is yours. Look closely at the world around you. The palaces have changed their shapes, but the shadows remain. The chains are hidden now, disguised as necessity, as labor, as inevitability. The hands that stitch, clean, and bend may not live in royal corridors, but they still remain unseen. Their silence sustains your comfort, just as yours once sustained the harem. You begin to understand. Silence is never absence. It is the loudest proof of cruelty, echoing in places where voices were buried. The forgotten servants of pleasure are not gone. They are alive in every unseen worker, every exploited body, every soul denied its name, so that another might glow brighter. And so, the weight of memory presses down. It demands you to remember those who were erased, to hear their voices in the silence. For history repeats when we mistake silence for emptiness. And if the forgotten are not spoken, the chain remains unbroken. The question, then, is not whether they are gone, but whether you will choose to see them.